Everyone, thank you for setting this up. And guys, thank you for putting up with all the inconvenience we are putting you through. It so happens that this meeting is the heart of what we do, what we approve, how we run search. This is an experiment. We will see how the tape comes out. If I look bad, we will not put it out. Okay? If Gomes looks bad, we will put it on our front page.
All right. Spell correcting long queries.
Lars.
So to keep our latency low, spelling has always just corrected 10 terms in long queries, and we decided to use the first 10 terms, which was sort of arbitrary. And so this is a change by Euro in Zurich, who decided that we could be a little bit more intelligent about this, and so we're going to pick the 2 words that we think are most likely to be misspelled in the query and form intervals of 5 words around each, so we're still correcting only 10 words, and this is just a smarter way of deciding which words to correct.
Okay.
So your context is the 5 words rather than the whole 10 words.
Yeah,
So you're
and-
more
and
likely to find a match.
Well, in general, the context is only 3 words because we use trigrams
That's right,
for this
yeah.
thing. So, but they correct 5 words at a time rather than simply the first 10 words.
So if you take a look at the mean scores,
This is huge.
this is
Yeah,
very,
it's hugely
very
positive, yeah.
Do we send both fragments to spelling separately, or is it
No,
strung
they're,
together?
they're sent together. We have a way of marking which terms we correct and which terms we won't correct.
But roughly what percentage of queries have more than 10 terms?
Wow.
Like,
Not a lot.
Yeah.
So
It's around.
But it is very annoying when your
when-
misspelling is towards the end of a long query and you don't get
Right,
it.
it
When
seems
it's
like
so
a great change.
obviously wrong.
We've seen things where
Why
it's
would-
pasted quotes in the last word
Why
is
would
mangled.
anything ever go wrong with this?
Yeah.
Like,
It does because you try to correct something on late in the query and you'll see some examples where early in the query there's also a misspelling which you fail to correct.
oh, so because of your 2-word selection, you end up picking, if there are more than 2 misspellings in a query,
Or there's a very rare word that
There's a
makes
rare
you
name.
believe that that's a potential misspelling because you don't know it's a
Why
misspelling.
wouldn't you apply the misspelling across the whole query? The same misspelling you're saying would get corrected in one place because
No,
of
it's a
context,
different
or not?
misspelling at the
Okay.
beginning. The problem is if we could just correct the whole thing, but then that you'd pay in cost, right? Latency and things. So they don't want to do that.
It's
So
mostly
they
the
wanna-
latency, right? Like why? I don't know. It seems a little like we can do hundreds, thousands of QPS, right? Why can't we break the query up into multiple chunks and then send them all in
Yeah.
parallel so we can correct the entire query, right?
we could do that, but
Yeah.
I think the traffic effect, it would just be a really small slice. So, we
so,
haven't-
but why not just
Complicated
do
for
that
abstract,
right?
okay.
Like take overlapping 5-word windows and send runs of 10-word queries, as many as you can make out of a query, and send them all in parallel.
Especially because there's only a 0.1% change.
And
Yeah.
and by the
Yeah.
way, right, in most cases you'll be pretty much done.
Yeah.
You will cover up to 15-word queries with just 2.
So,
I think the
I
change is
think
good,
we should
but
certainly launch this. I think Euro gets
Yeah.
points for a clever idea on
Yeah.
it, but I think it is driving the idea of splitting it. That's probably more infrastructure work.
I'm sorry. I just want to jump back to this problem with the beginnings of the queries. So these situations where if you look at the second one in the second block there, int he book Julius Caesar, etc., etc., etc. We catch all sorts of misspellings about Caesar and differences, but we miss the fact that
Int he.
should be in the. We have another query about sponsoring a child living in Tenerife, and we want to figure out whether Tenerife is misspelled, but we miss the fact that it's cam instead of can.
By the way, are you doing this, but in the course of suggest also, the same thing will work with suggest? When we
You
have
mean
live
for the
spelling
live,
suggest?
live spell? I'm sure if once you launch this, suggest will do the same thing, right?
So suggest will be
Because
actually
this is all inside the spell server, so there are no multiple calls being
right.
made. It's all
And
embedded inside
So
the spell
on this
server.
sponsor, did we send the context left and right?
We did.
And then why
Yeah,
didn't
this
we
is-
correct the context?
Actually, this is sort of an issue with the current implementation. If there are 2 intervals that are close enough together, then we merge them into one. So what's actually happening is we are correcting, I think, from I to credit.
So we just missed one.
Yeah, so
We picked slightly the wrong window. Look, that's going to happen with any of these.
I mean, certainly the original thing of picking the first 10 was missing a lot of words, right?
That's right.
And look, the averages say this is clearly an improvement.
Right, but if this is like a 0.01% of queries, why not just correct?
No, it's 0.1.
Point one.
It's not
Okay.
0.01, it's 0.1.
But how much resource-wise would it?
I think it's more just the infrastructure work on doing it, because you now have to have the spell servers call out to other spell servers.
Okay.
Right.
It seems good.
I mean, to a large extent, you will be seeing those spell corrections happening in Suggest because you're going to get that initial window all
I think
the
a
time.
lot of these are
You
just
can make them be
pasted
more-
I
queries,
think this
though.
is
A lot of these
This
are
is
pasted
just-
queries.
Huh?
These are cut and paste. No one's typing these.
We're seeing a lot of people's
No,
homework.
Cam-
No, why would you have the
Caesar-
misspellings
the
in the
Cam-
cut and
Cam I
paste? Can
sponsor-
Can I sponsor?
That-
The Caesar one.
I
is-
don't.
That's a kid who's
Clearly,
doing his
Stein
homework
S
on a
et
Sunday.
al. Amino acid analysis is a pasted query.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean, so
not all of them.
but not all of these.
Yeah.
Like how long do you have to wait to wash your
In
hair after a
T-book,
perm?
in T-book is almost certainly not.
It may
cut and
have
paste.
PDF paste to all kinds of funky things.
And if you look at the wins, a lot of those
Yeah.
are definitely
Okay, fine.
typed queries.
Okay.
And
Anyway,
that's
look, this is
efficient.
clearly a good change.
This is clearly a great
Yeah.
change.
And
yeah.
let's give a recommendation to the team to actually give up the 10-word
No,
limit
but I
somehow.
want some follow-up on that recommendation.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna get that follow-up?
No, your recommendation is issuing
Just do
multiple.
it. All of it, right? In that.
Yeah,
by-
I just
by
think we should
chunking.
have some system that can handle 100-word queries, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me.
We shouldn't die on like the
Right,
hardest
but I think
query.
we end up doing that in the front end and not in.
No, but I don't.
Yeah.
Paul,
We don't care.
I'm sorry. You're defending something that's the design is not perfect. Don't defend it. Okay. So
I think it's fine to do the recommendation, but I think this is a good step, and I think Euro gets points for getting us to look at that.
no,
again.
that's fine. But I want to make sure that the team comes back, or we put some kind of exploding deadline that we won't do this if you don't do it right within say 3 months.
Aren't your spell servers being used for running text in other places too?
Now they're being used for red underline also, isn't that right?
we use the same servers.
But
yes
a
and
different
no.
setup.
For part of one of the red underline clients is using them. Yeah.
So that must be much longer chunks of text.
No, but I think they break it up into smaller chunks.
Treat
That's what
this
I'm
as
saying. Why-
someone's typing an email.
Email, right? That's what.
And
Why is it
bring
not
in
the
all the
same?
red underlines.
Right.
Okay, we can launch
Ready?
this,
Move
but
on.
I mean, remember, we may still have problems even there because of context and things if you break things up. I mean, so there'll always be
There'll always be
little
issues.
there'll always.
Yeah, treat it as running text, right?
okay.
Okay.